So I'm going to be reading Harambe stories from Harambe Devotion, along with Mike Scratch with the Wind Buff. I really like the wind buff scratching and brushing. It's one of my favorite triggers. So let's see how this goes. The following is a story Harambe told his disciples. Asher was sitting in his basement, toying with his redstone contraption. Bear was at Triggs playing D&D for the night, so Asher was home alone. Asher felt a jump of goosebumps as the Goosebumps theme played on his radio. He slowly stood up and turned on his phone flashlight, facing it down the hallway. There was nothing there, so he turned off his flashlight, but he heard scurrying on the ceiling. He screamed like a little girl and fell down to his knees, begging Harambe to guard him against the demons. His phone flashlight lit the hallway again, and a tall, shadowy figure was standing there. He clutched his Harambe necklace he of course wears at all times. The figure pulled out a bell and began ringing it lightly, slowly becoming louder and more frequent, more violent ringing. Asher pleaded and screamed for his life, when suddenly Harambe appeared next to Asher. He pressed his giant hand into Asher's face, telling him to shush, to shush. As Harambe used the force and flipped down the lights, a flash of light blinded Asher. As the lights turned on, standing in the hallway was Robin, ringing a bell. Seeing the lights on, she immediately scurried outside into the forest, prancing away. Asher hugged Harambe and said, "My Harambe, many thanks." But Harambe looked down at him and licked his lips. There is now a price to be paid. The following is a story Harambe told his disciples. In a reality far from now, Lauren had just moved into Lumini City. She had moved into the high-rise apartments of VV Towers, into Foles' penthouse. When she got to the top floor, she walked into the apartment and the door swung open. The room was filled with statues and paintings of slaves being beaten, with paintings of pandas hung on the wall. She walked into the living room. The couch is made of the finest bear fur. Tommy Jack position from Titanic. Imagine that. His band of fur shaved away. Lauren licked her lips and brought out her painting canvas, drawing out the entire scene, every detail of his every baby hair on his shaved, naked panda body. At the end, Foles got up, proceeding to offer Lauren sweet tea and gulping down jugs of it himself. But suddenly, the windows of the penthouse shattered, and two ninjas appeared behind them, tackling them to the ground. They removed their masks, revealing to be Mads and Tara. Mads went to the kitchen and threw out all the tea out the window. He put down his duffel bag and pulled out iced tea, walking slowly to Foles. Foles screamed no as Mads tried to force it down his throat. Lauren saw this and managed to push Tara off, pushing him out of the window. As he fell, Tara pulled an ender chest out of his pocket and crawled inside, teleporting elsewhere. Lauren rushed over to Mads, gut punching him, but his abs were too strong from running. He grabbed Lauren and lifted the iced tea high in the air. Foles got up and tackled Mads out the window. As the dramatic music flared, they both fell out of the skyscraper into the streets below. Just as they hit the ground dying, Harambe appeared to them, taking their hand and bringing them to the magic heaven of the poolside snack bar in the sky for being devout Harambeists. The end. Harambe knows where you are at all times. He knows this because he knows where it isn't. By subtracting where it is from where it isn't, or where it isn't from where it is, whichever is greater, he obtains a difference or a deviation. The guidance subsystem uses deviations to generate corrective commands to drive Harambe from position to where it is to a position where it isn't, and arriving at a position where it wasn't, it now is. Consequently, the position where it is now the position that it wasn't, and it follows that the position where it was is now the position that it isn't. In the event of the position that is in not the position that it wasn't, Harambe has required a variation. The variation being the difference between where the missile is and where it wasn't. If variation is considered to be a significant factor, it too may be corrected by the GEA. However, Harambe must also know where it was. Harambe guidance computed scenario works as follows, because a variation has modified some of the information Harambe has obtained. He is not sure where it is, however he is sure where it isn't, within reason, and he knows where it was. he now subtracts where it should be from where it wasn't, or vice versa. By differentiating this from the algebraic sum of where it shouldn't be and where it was, he is able to obtain a deviation and a variation, which is called error. The following was brought to our attention by Metanoia, a former member. Quote unquote. I'm so fucking horny for our O's. I want to fuck a coked out Tumblr hipster DIY aesthetic astrology thought in her hip, lip, gloss, DSL mouth. Let's move on. I forgot how bad that got. It was a dark and stormy night. King was pacing back and forth at his lake house in the woods. Then he heard the doorbell ring. Mantis opened the door and walked in. Wearing his battle armor and wielding his sword. Mantis, before we go out tonight, I want to tell you about your father, King said. Mantis sat down on the couch with King in front of the fireplace. How did my father die? Mantis asked. Me and your father, Mads, were the best of friends. We fought in anarchy together. We were always together. Until one fateful day. King gazed longingly out the window into the woods. "49 times. We fought that beast. Your old man and me. It had a chicken head with duck feet, with your grandma's face too. It changed its face to look like your grandmother's. King became very quiet. On the 49th time, we fought that chicken man duck thing. It was waiting in the bushes for us. It jumped out and ripped off your dad's face. He was screaming something awful. It was so bad that we had to change the floors." Mantis asked. "The floors? You see his blood, it drained into the board, so we had to change them. Well, we all got a chicken duck man thing waiting for us. But Mantis, tonight we go and fight it." King points out the window as he grabbed his sword. "It's out there tonight. I know it." King turns towards Mantis. "And we're gonna kill him." King and Mantis rush to leave the house and go fight the chicken man duck thing. But when they open the door, it was standing right there. Oh shit. It had been waiting. It immediately ripped off Mantis' face, and he was screaming something awful. King quickly held his Harambe Bible up at the chicken man duck thing. It looked confused. Then the book opened, and Harambe's arm came out and ripped off the chicken duck man thing's face. It was screaming something awful. Then Harambe played its only weakness, dubstep. sun rose, King praised Harambe, as Manus was still clutching his bloody face. Always trust